Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into Søren Kierkegaard's, intense work, Fear and Trembling. And it throws this really profound question right at you. Would you trust something so deeply that you'd risk everything, your reputation, logic, maybe even love? Just because you truly believe, it's what you have to do. It really pushes things, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Published back in 1843, anonymously at first, Kierkegaard is just passionately exploring faith, doubt, and the sheer courage it takes to believe. He jumps right in with the story of Abraham, God tells him to sacrifice Isaac, his son.
Yeah, a story most people find incredibly disturbing.
Exactly. And to anyone watching, Abraham looks, frankly, monstrous or mad. But Kierkegaard says, no, hold on. He sees Abraham as something else entirely. A knight of faith. Someone who trusts God even when the command seems impossible. Absurd, really.
So faith isn't safe then?
Not according to Kierkegaard. It's not logical, not safe. It's this terrifying, but also kind of beautiful leap.
The leap of faith. That phrase really stuck. It feels like the absolute core of this book. It makes you think about, those moments in your own life, maybe starting a business, proposing, moving somewhere totally new, times when you had to jump before you felt ready, right? Before you could see the landing. What is that feeling?
Well, what's fascinating here, I think, is that this leap isn't about having proof. It's actually about daring to trust precisely when the proof runs out. You're choosing trust over certainty.
Okay.
Like Abraham on that mountain. Imagine his heart pounding, He cannot see the outcome. He can't know, but he walks forward anyway. It's that moment logic just stops. And this raw trust takes over. It demands this internal strength that's hard to explain.
It sounds almost superhuman.
Yeah.
An impossible kind of strength. So how does Kierkegaard help us grasp the difference, between someone who just gives up on something and someone who makes this actual leap of faith?
He gives us these two figures, really powerful comparison, the knight of infinite resignation versus the knight of faith.
Okay, resignation versus faith. What's the key difference?
It's crucial. The knight of infinite resignation gives up what they love, okay? They accept the loss. They find a sort of peace, maybe a tragic peace in that sorrow. They've let it go.
Right. They reconcile themselves to the loss.
Exactly. But the knight of faith, they perform the same sacrifice outwardly, but still believes they'll get it back. By virtue of the impossible, the absurd.
Wow.
Think of, say, a young artist. She gives up her dream, her painting, to care for a sick parent. Infinite resignation means accepting, okay, that part of my life is over. But the knight of faith makes that same sacrifice, yet somehow, against all logic, against the odds, still believes, I will paint again someday. It's not denial. Kierkegaard sees it as this shocking boldness, a radical hope. That's what he admires so deeply.
But looking from the outside, that kind of faith can easily look like foolishness. Or, like you said about Abraham, even madness. Abraham walking up that mountain, he looked like a potential murderer. It makes you think, have you ever followed a really deep personal calling and people just thought you'd lost your mind?
Absolutely. And Kierkegaard insists Abraham wasn't mad. He was locked in this private struggle, this test of trust that no one else could possibly understand or judge. And that deeply personal nature of real faith often leads to misunderstanding, to isolation, which brings us to maybe his most challenging idea, that faith can actually go beyond ethics.
Beyond ethics? What does that even mean? Is he saying morality doesn't matter?
No, not that it doesn't matter. He isn't advocating for, just doing whatever you want. It's more that there can be this intensely personal, absolute duty to God that might, in really extreme cases, seem to suspend the universal moral rules we all live by. It's about a terrifying kind of moral isolation. Your ultimate obedience isn't to human reason or what society thinks is right, but to a divine command.
Like Abraham being asked to do something that by any human standard was just completely wrong.
Exactly. Wrong by human standards, but right in his relationship with God. It's a deeply unsettling concept.
So fear and trembling, it's not just philosophy, it's like a mirror, isn't it? It holds it up and asks you straight up, what do you believe in so deeply that you trust it, even if everyone else calls you crazy? What are you willing to leap for?
Yeah, and Kierkegaard, he doesn't give you easy answers. That's the whole point, maybe. That's its power. Engaging with this deep dive, wrestling with these ideas, it helps you understand not just faith, maybe, but the sheer courage it takes to live with passion, with conviction. If you've ever stood right there on the edge of some terrifying decision, wondering, can I actually jump? This book is a kind of profound push. It forces you to reflect, really reflect on what you're willing to trust, what you're willing to risk, what it truly means to dare.